watching, folks. Today I'm going to show you how to cook a pork joint in a slow cooker in Coca Cola. So let's have a look at the ingredients that I'm going to be using today. So I've got a pork joint, it weighs just over 2 kilos, nice big juicy fella. I've got the Coca Cola as I've showed you. I'm going to add in a little bit of lime juice to bring a bit of tartness because this is very sweet. Some homemade applesauce, which is actually applesauce with chives in, an experimental batch, just to add a little bit more flavour. Some garlic, which is crushed garlic in a puree. I've got chopped ginger just here, paprika, mixed herbs. So that's all my flavours, etc. just there. And then veggie wise, I've got 2 white onions and 1 red onion. I've got a small courgette, a green capsicum pepper or bell pepper to you Americans, a few white mushrooms and a very small red chilli, but don't let size determine flavour here because this packs a punch. It's one that my wife's grown and they are hot. So let's do this. So I'm going to begin by chopping up my onions, chilli and green pepper. And then similarly, I'm going to chop my pepper up. I'll keep a few seeds to regrow some. And I'm just going to chop this into rough pieces. Now the chilli, like I said, it is very hot. I'm going to need to wash my hands after handling this. Don't make the mistake I did last time, which is to rub my eyes afterwards. So I'm just taking the top off, and I'm going to use a smaller knife just to get this into little pieces, and I'm keeping seeds and all to maximise what I get from it. That is literally a tiny bit of chilli, if you look at that, compared to everything else that's there, but it will add flavour. So now all of this is going to go into my slow cooker pan. And here's what I've currently got, nice and colourful. I'm just going to mix it around. I'm now going to add on to this a bit of salt and some black pepper. I've got my lime juice. I'm going to add a nice few splashes of that. Just gives it a nice bit of tanginess. My homemade applesauce. Pour a blob of that on. A few Italian mixed herbs. A smattering of paprika. Doesn't that look nice and colourful? And now the fun bit. And on this goes, and yet brings it all together. Now you might think I'm a bit crazy cooking in Coca Cola, but there's actually quite a few recipes that use Coca Cola in savoury dishes. I saw a meat recipe once, I've adapted it and played with it over the years, and this is how I do it right now. It's a sweet and spicy and slightly barbecuey flavour that I want to get at the end of it. And above all, it goes very well with pork. So there's my slow cooker pan. I'm just going to put that to one side. Let's get the headline act. And you'll see it's a rolled joint and it's been tied. I'm leaving those ties in place. I'm going to give it a quick rinse under the tap. Now you'll see on top of the pork joint that there are some minor slits, but I'm going to add to those by putting some more in. And I'm simply going to do that with my knife. And there's a reason for this. And that is that I want to rub some of the flavours into the meat so it penetrates through the fat. And I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to do the same underneath. And actually I can put some flavours inside too. So in terms of getting some flavours inside, I'm going to add some garlic. And I'm going to add some ginger. Again, all inside, like that. I'm then going to take my pork joint and put it inside the slow cooker pan, like so. So it's sat in the Coca Cola. I'm going to add more ginger on top. And I'm going to do the same with the garlic. Again, rub it on top. I really want the meat to take on the flavours here. Next, I'm going to add some Italian mixed herbs on top. A generous amount, because I love my mixed herbs. And the same with paprika. I love the barbecuey flavour that it gives. And finally, a little bit more applesauce on top. So I've just got my other veggies now. I'm going to cut these up. Et voila! I've cut my mushrooms into nice chunky quarters and my courgette into batons. So back to the slow cooker pan, and it's just a case now of putting my veggies around the meat. And hopefully that will be okay. So the pan now goes into the slow cooker where it sits nicely. And it's simply a case now of turning it on. I'm going to put it on high for the first hour only, and then I'm going to turn it down to low. So we'll have a progress update in an hour's time. Catch you then. Okay, we're an hour in, and I'm now going to turn the slow cooker down to low. And I shan't be doing anything now for 3 hours. Okay, it's 3 hours later, and now I'm going to do something that you shouldn't do when you slow cook, and that's take the lid off. Because what I want to do is to take this pork joint out and turn it over, so then it goes fat side down. So it's currently fat side up, and I want to turn it around. So first of all, let's get the lid off. The smell is absolutely wonderful. Now hopefully this won't be too much of a challenge. Oops. First casualty of the day. Apologies for that slight technical glitch. You missed me turning it over because the camera was steamed up and I hadn't realised. Sorry about that. Anyway, here it is turned over. It's not that exciting. So the lid goes back on. So back in the slow cooker it goes. Okay, 3 more hours. Catch you then. Okay, the final 3 hours is up. The meat is done. Here it is. And I'm now going to get it out of here. So just get the lid off, and very steamy as you can imagine. I'm just using this fork and this knife to grip it. So that's dripped off. So I'm going to put that into this oven tray, and I'm just going to leave it in that oven tray because I want it to cool and settle for a bit before I attempt to cut it. Now, I've got lots of good juice left here, as you can see, and this is where all that flavour now is. Now, as for the meat, I'm going to put it into the oven. I'm not turning the oven on. I'm just putting it in there, out of the way, to cool down. And it won't get any contaminants on it there. Now this, what I was going to do was thicken it with some corn flour. However, in the great spirit of TV, I've just checked the cupboard and I haven't got any. So I'm going to cheat and I'm going to use gravy granules instead. So all I'm going to do here is shake some gravy granules into this, and then using this wooden fork, just work that in. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid back on this and put it back on the slow cooker for a further 45 minutes until this thickens up. Okay, so this goes back into the slow cooker. It's still on low. I might whack it up to medium actually, and we'll come back in 45 minutes time when I'm going to cut the meat and then add it back into the gravy. Okay, here's the meat. Hopefully it's not steaming up the camera this time. I'm going to remove it from the metal tray and pop it on the chopping board. And what I want to start to do is to get all the string off it, which is tying it together. And I'm just going to have a go at cutting this. It should just fall apart, and in fact it is just falling apart. And look at that. It'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Oh wow. Absolutely beautiful. It's sweet, tangy, barbecuey. Big thumbs up. So we just have a look at that. That's beautifully cooked all the way through. It's absolutely just falling apart. It's so tender. It's going to go back in the sauce now in the slow cooker. So here's the gravy and the veg. That's really nice and thick now. And it's simply a case of popping it back in. I want it to soak up that sauce and I want it to be juicy. And that's not going back into the slow cooker, it's going back to low. And I'm going to leave it on low now until I want to eat it, which will probably be in about an hour or so's time. I think it's time for a beer. I'll catch you when it comes to tasting. Right folks, it's time and I'm ready for this, I'll tell thee. So, I'm going to spoon it into my bowl. It smells absolutely fabulous and it looks delicious. Okay, so starting with the sauce. Well, that gravy's wonderful. Fabulous. Oh, it's sweet, it's spicy. That's just absolutely banging. This poured over mashed potatoes would be heaven. And I'll tell you this, what I told you about that red chilli, that one red chilli, wow, that flavour has carried through. Right, let's talk about the meat. It's tender, it just breaks apart with the spoon. Absolutely wonderful. Can't fault it. It's delicious. So, pork shoulder joint, Coca Cola, veggies, herbs and spices, stick it in the slow cooker, you won't regret it. Okay folks, I'm going to finish this and enjoy it. I'll catch you on the next film, whatever that might be. See you later. The film that you've just watched is a Moss Home and Garden production. You can find more by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. I'd just like to say thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and for watching my films. It really is very much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to receive future updates about the home and garden films which I upload. You can find my YouTube channel by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. Please click on the red subscribe button. When you've done that, a little bell will appear. If you press that also, then you'll get future updates about the films which I upload. If you like my films, if you like my style of filming, then you might also like my travel channel, which you will find by going to youtube.com/Stuart Moss or type in www.mosstravel.tv. Again, if you could subscribe to that channel, it would be hugely appreciated. If you'd like to get Moss Home and Garden updates on Facebook, then please open Facebook and do a search for Moss Home and Garden and you will find the page. If you like the page, then you will get future updates on there. And if you'd like to connect on Instagram for home, garden and travel photography, as well as some stories, then my username is StuMoss, STUMOSS. If you'd like to connect on Twitter, then my username is @StuartMoss. And if you'd like to contact me about film usage or any other issue, please just email me on stewmosshomegarden@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel, for watching my films. I do appreciate it. I'd just like you all to have a great day.